Hello, everyone. News Channel 3, Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson with a Facebook and YouTube live weather update on a Monday evening. Remember, we can't get to Friday without going through Monday. So we pretty much put it all down now. Monday's in the rearview mirror for the most part. And so let's talk about the weather here. There's lots going on. As you might have read in the caption that I had here, we're tracking smoke. We're tracking a chance for some storms. And then also tracking the coolest air that we have had in about 3.5 weeks. By the time we get to, let's say Wednesday, we'll be just 2 days shy of 4 weeks. K&M, hello to you. Thanks for checking in. We're looking right now at downtown Kalamazoo with our Peregrine Tower camera. Let me go ahead here and show you what I got going on for South Beach. There it is, South Haven. Got some of the clouds there and also the smoke, which is helping to obstruct the sunset just a little bit. I'll bring this full so you can get a better look at it here. But like I said, there's lots going on here with storms that are right now rumbling across northern Wisconsin, especially the UP. There have been several tornado warnings in the Upper Peninsula this evening. There's a severe thunderstorm watch right now that covers the northern half of the lower that does not come into our area. However, I am watching the southern branch of that system to see if it will develop any storms that might be stronger for us. So I've got your hour by hour coming up. Also, of course, tracking the smoke air quality alert for today. I have not seen yet where that has been extended for tomorrow, but I'm going to show you the smoke cast. And I do think tomorrow morning we could have some smoke out there, but I think in the afternoon things are going to clear up and it's going to not be a problem later on in the week, talking about the smoke. I'll show you why. That's coming up in just a little bit too. And then the third item, the coolest air that we have had, like I said, in quite some time, is on the way. Gary, are we really going to get rain? It is iffy. I'll tell you that. It is iffy. I think we'll get some scattered showers and storms, but I'll show you just a moment on the hour by hour. It might just break up over us. Hello, Battle Creek in the house. Could be a few thunderstorms tonight. I'm going to take you hour by hour. Coming up in just a little bit. Kathleen, thanks for asking. Carla, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hello to you. Shinnis Joe, hello to you. And Pearson, thanks for checking in. You have a chance for seeing some stronger storms. A little bit of a better chance, well, north of I-96 than south of I-96. Jennifer, hello to you. Liz in Delton, thanks for representing. Sally, got your walk-in. That's awesome. That is good. Tina, hello to you in Hudsonville. Represent in the house. Brad, Union City. Going to be humid. Could see a shower or thunderstorm. Char is ready for a cool down. Wait till you see the 7-day. You're going to love it. Christine, hello to you in Battle Creek. Mike, happy Monday to you too. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it very much. Hope you're having a good night too. Kathy, hello. Jennifer, there could be a little bit of thunder in Oshtemo. I'm just going to take you that sprinkler or take you through that. I'll tell you this, Gary, if we don't have these showers and storms tonight, you're probably going to have to get that sprinkler and get it ready to go. Linda, hello to you in Kalamazoo. Nikki, hello. And Rick, for Decatur, warm and humid, the same for Coldwater Jill with a chance for some scattered storms. Yeah, got a little bit of wind out there. Melissa, let's talk about what's going on. There's our South Beach. This is the water treatment plant view. That is from the city of South Haven. Here's the way it looks in downtown Kalamazoo. We do still have that haze that's out there. Let's get to our smoke cast. All right, our wildfire smoke plumes here. Now, tomorrow, according to Eagle and the air quality index forecast from EPA, tomorrow is expected to be in the moderate category. So that would be down at a level 2. You know, just to sort of be consistent with what we talk about when we talk about severe storms, right? And we have the 5 levels. We have marginal risk, we have slight risk, we have enhanced risk, a moderate risk, and a high risk. 5 levels. Well, let's just say that here with this, with our AQI, the air quality index, we have 6 levels, let's say, that goes from good, the green, all the way up to hazardous, where we spent last Thursday and Friday, of course. And that would be that burgundy color that you see there on the graph, right? So this is going to be like a level 2 tomorrow. But I will say the forecast for this does show that tomorrow morning, here we are at 7 o'clock, that there will be some pockets of heavier smoke. So that's what we're looking at there. Where you see the oranges and the reds, that's where the smoke is expected to be a little bit heavier. So overnight, this model is correct, and so far it has been on the money. we would see an increase in smoke, the particulates in the atmosphere, at least aloft. So it might even be that we're going to be smelling some of that tomorrow morning. Wouldn't be shocked if we do. But watch what happens here. By the time we get to noon, it starts to kick out. What's kicking it out? Cold front. Cold front is going to kick it out. See you later. By the time we get to 6 p.m. tomorrow, and certainly by Wednesday morning, it is long gone. And I think we actually probably then will go into the green category on the AQI, which would take us into the good category. But it certainly will be better. So again, just to sort of do a synopsis on that, I think in the morning tomorrow, I think we are going to have some thicker smoke. We might be having it at closer to the ground level, more particulates in the air. Although I have not seen an air quality alert issued for tomorrow. But I do think that by the time we get to noon, things will be improving. And by tomorrow evening, I think we're headed for finally, some good atmosphere, some good air that will last for a while, because that front will not only take out the smoke, it's going to take out some warmer air, and I'll have that coming up in a moment. First, let's talk about a severe weather risk. This is going to be for late tonight. Notice it says there for near midnight to just after midnight. Scattered severe storms are possible. I'm going to take you through the hour by hour in just a moment. Give me a sec here. The area in yellow is where there is a slight risk, level 2 out of 3. By the way, if I were to expand this to the west into Wisconsin, there was an enhanced risk there. And so we got our eye on that, because if we see anything, it's going to be stuff that develops off to the west and then moves in our direction. I'll show you the hour by hour coming up, and that'll give you a little more clarity on what I'm looking at. Damaging wind gusts within storm clusters not out of the question. Heavy rainfall is possible. Hey, here we talk about precipitable water, right? We go a little deeper on that outlook. And so we're looking at that precipitable water here, and we're talking about it does sort of spike. It does sort of spike this evening. And it will be up until, it's going to stay on the higher side of things until we get to about tomorrow around noontime. And then it starts to really drop off. And certainly by the time we get to Wednesday morning, it is dry. I mean, our air is pretty dry. That's when we get into some of that cooler air that I was talking about. But in the meantime, for tonight, this is what we're looking at here. So let's move on. I think I've got the hour by hour coming up next. I do. All right, this is 11 o'clock. If I pulled that banner away, which I'm not going to, but if I did, you notice there's some coloring back there behind the banner. It does look like the heavier weather, the bigger storms are going to be well to our north, even north of you, Shenzhou, but certainly up around Manistee. We're talking about certainly up around Frankfurt and Traverse City and Gaylord and even Lake City, all the way up to the bridge. The UP is getting rocked right now with some strong thunderstorms, some severe thunderstorms right now. And watch as we go hour by hour. I'm going to take you from 11 o'clock here, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. So we're just going to advance the clock 3 hours here. All right. And notice where you see, of course, the brighter reds and even the purples, that's where the storms are expected to be the worst. Oh, got to put your A's up there. I got to see you there, Glenn. I see you there in Headland. I know I'm missing a lot of comments, but I caught that one. So at 2 o'clock, our model here is showing some scattered showers and thunderstorms there along I-96, I-196, but the heavier stuff is over toward the thumb. Let's go from 2 a.m. to about 6 or 7 a.m. 6 a.m. is where I stop it. The threat is pretty much gone now. Now, it is going to be mild and muggy tomorrow morning. Our model here is going 69. I think I was hanging out around 70 to 72 for a low. Yeah. So maybe I'm a little above that, but it is going to be a little bit warm and humid to be sure. And by the way, by far, this is going to be the warmest night that we have this week. Easily. So watch as we go from 6 a.m. tomorrow. You're going to start to see things clear out. By noon, we're back to a lot of sunshine. Tomorrow is going to be a really nice day. And in the afternoon, we're looking at high temperatures, much like today, right around 80, maybe the lower 80s. But the key is that we do have a northwest wind that will be developing during the day tomorrow, west to northwest. It will be a little bit gusty at times. I could get by with a low-level Herbie-Kirby alert, but I'm not probably going to do that. But I do think that we could see some gusts tomorrow afternoon, 15 to 20, maybe 25. Nothing problematic. But it is going to be coming eventually out of the northwest. By late in the day, it's northwesterly, and that's blowing in that cooler, more comfy air. So I'm looking at a forecast model here that is taking our dew point down. I mean, I try not to read these necessarily, literally. But it's taking our dew point down from the upper 60s tomorrow morning when it's going to be humid all the way down, oh my goodness, all the way down to the mid to upper 40s. So we're talking about a dew point that from tomorrow morning at daybreak to Wednesday morning at daybreak falls by about 20 to 25 degrees. That's going to take us from this little humid category to, wow, it feels crisp and cool. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, so that's tomorrow. Notice there, I'm going to run that through one more time just for the people who just got in here. I just want to show you what we're talking about. I think the thunderstorms that right now, I'm going to show you that radar coming up. Right now, they're up north in the northern lower. Our forecast model, you see that little line that's sort of trying to develop there? And I will tell you this, when we're talking about these short range models, they can change from hour to hour. They really can. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. But the models have been consistent in two things that I've been watching this afternoon and early this evening. One is that there's a greater threat for the stronger storms, certainly north of I-96, but also east of, let's say, 127, well east of US 127, which if you want to say that 127, let's say bisects north to south, the lower, it's a little more toward the east. But anyway, you get my point. So anything that's east of US 127 is certainly over toward the thumb and over toward Detroit. And I think that's what we're looking at. But I do think that we'll see a few scattered thunderstorms here overnight. And then notice between about 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., we'll see a little more widespread coverage. So do I think everybody's going to get a taste of some rain here tonight? Yes, I do, overnight. Between probably midnight, 1 a.m. and let's say 5, 6 a.m. Do I think that we're going to have severe weather? I think that the chances of that are low for our area. And I think that the rain might be sort of widely scattered. So Gary, getting back to you, I would not be surprised if tomorrow morning, after the rain threat has gone away, you're still going to have to go for the sprinkler. I just don't think we're going to get a lot of relief in that way. Now, once we get past this rain threat for tomorrow, which is certainly long gone by mid to late morning, our model here is showing that there could be a pop-up shower tomorrow afternoon. I don't hold a lot of stock in that. I give a lot of stock to that. Then we're going to be dry for a while. So I do think that we're going to have to, if you want the garden watered, if you want the lawn watered, you have to do it yourself. All right, here's live Doppler radar. This is a new development just in the last 15 minutes. I got one lone shower there over northeast or eastern Muskegon County, just to the north of you there, Chris, in Coopersville, and then in southwest Newaygo County. The reason I got my eye on that is because that's going to be in the vicinity of where between now and let's say midnight, we might see a little activity starting to develop. Yeah, okay, so I stretched this out, and there you see what's been pummeling the UP with a few tornado warnings earlier this evening. And like I said, we have that severe thunderstorm watch that covers the northern half of the lower. One thing I'm thinking about right now while I've got you here is there is a beach hazards alert for poor swimming conditions for all of our Lake Michigan beaches tomorrow. So just think about that. It is going to be a little bit gusty. Listen, anytime we are ahead of a front and then right behind a front, warm front or cold front, anytime. When we get more of an angular wind, northwest, southwest, and we have some gusts in the neighborhood of 20 to 25, you can guarantee that there are going to be some red flags that are going to be flying on our beaches. You can just guarantee that. And tomorrow we do have a front that's going to be moving through. Today there was a red flag on parts of our beaches. I know that South Beach and South Haven had a red flag. I mean, what do they say? Bet dimes to donuts or something like whatever that is. That tomorrow there's going to be a red flag on North Beach, maybe South, but we're talking about the breakwaters there. When that wind shifts west to northwest during the afternoon tomorrow, anything on the north side of North Pier or North Breakwater is going to be hazardous. So as I always say, read the flags, heed the flags. But from the Weather Service, there is a beach hazards alert for all of West Michigan beaches for tomorrow. Okay, so you got those big thunderstorms right now pushing down into the eastern UP, just north of Green Bay. Mackinac Island right now is getting quite a show, no doubt. I hope all the horses are in the barns because it's about to come rain of bullfrogs there with a lot of lightning. Now, you see that zone that's around Green Bay and just to the west of it there in north central and central Wisconsin? We got our eye on that. If you notice, there's a bit of a line that it seems like it's going from, let's say, Sault Ste. Marie all the way back down to the Mackinac Bridge, going down to Escanaba there on the northern shore of Lake Michigan, and then right to about Green Bay, the bay itself, right? Green Bay, and the Door Peninsula there. Well, that line trying to extend a little bit more into Wisconsin. Got an eye on that because that's part of that area that's going to be drifting across West Michigan here later on tonight. And as I showed you on that hour by hour, and the forecast model has been fairly consistent over the last few hours, that well north of I-96, we're probably really talking along and north of US 10, all right, if you know where that is where it's more likely that we'll have some of the stronger storms stretching all the way over to the thumb. That would pretty much take us out of the severe weather mix, and that's what I'm going with right now. But I do think that we'll see some pop-up showers and thunderstorms here between about midnight, 1 o'clock, and then about 6 a.m. I don't expect those to be severe, but they could have some pockets of heavier rain. Right now, it is muggy out there. It's a little bit on the warm side, of course, in the mid-70s. It is mid-July, by the way, July 20th, right? So no shocker that it's warm, but I will say this, with the southwest wind in here that's blowing in some warmer air, right? We are not only staying warm temperature-wise, but the dew points are headed up as well. Earlier today, I saw some upper 50s and low 60s. Now, as you see coming in from south to north, primarily, I'm seeing more mid to upper 60s. So it is that's a sign of things to come, and that is that overnight it's going to be mild and muggy. In other words, you might find that the open windows there, K&M, might not work out as well for you overnight tonight, with those lows expected to be close to 70 and with the dew points sort of creeping up to the upper 60s as well. So you might find that it's going to be a little bit warmer and more humid, and as a result, it's going to be a little more difficult to just get by with a fan and without a little boost from the AC. So that's what we got going on there. All right, let's see if I got 7-day here. Again, some early morning storms. Then our skies will be clearing. Some morning cloud cover, but by afternoon, it's going to be sunny. It's going to be breezy tomorrow. Get that, breezy tomorrow. It's going to be hazardous for swimming on the big lake tomorrow. To get that, hazardous for swimming on the big lake tomorrow. And you're going to need your sunscreen tomorrow. The sun's going to be out in full force in the afternoon. So you want to go to a Lake Michigan beach, no problem. Enjoy. Make sure you have that sunscreen. And make sure to read the flags, heed the flags. Don't be surprised if that water is looking like that washing machine effect. And you know what that means. Stay out. Wednesday, look at that. That is not a typo. We're talking about a high of 72 on Wednesday. The last time we had a high temperature in the low 70s was almost 4 weeks ago, a good 3.5 weeks ago. And then look at that morning low Thursday. Look at that, 52. If that verifies, then we probably will have some of the low-lying, rural zones and the rural areas. We might even see some upper 40s. So some cooler air coming back. Not a sign of things to come, by the way. Notice we start to warm up again, but we're talking about some pleasant weather here once we get past this thunderstorm threat. And by the way, like I said, that cold front that's coming through is going to give the boot to the snow, thankfully. And then coming in behind it, for a little while, for a couple of days anyway, our winds are going to be out of the northwest to west. I'm sorry. Well, that's going to be bringing in some of the cooler air, but then they're going to shift around to the south. Basically, I don't think we're going to have a big smoke problem once we get past tomorrow morning for the remainder of the week. So that would be good news. That would be some good news. There you see, though, a bit warmer air coming in. In fact, we get hot again next Sunday with those highs in the upper 80s. And by the way, Sunday, which is the 26th, where is July going? The 26th, we are looking at it getting humid too. So heat and humidity making a comeback. Some are saying, don't count me out just yet. So we will be warming up by next weekend. And after that, by the end of the month, I think it's going to be rather toasty for us again. But then we're getting a little bit too far out there for my liking. Yeah, David, for sure. An AC night. Kendra, this is all moving from northwest to southeast, being pushed along by that cold front. Happy 29th to your oldest son. That's awesome. Ron, hello to you in Three Rivers. Thanks for that, Mike. I appreciate it. I know. That's what people are going to be saying. You're going to step outside in that 52-degree air Thursday morning, and people are going to think like, oh, is it fall? And I would say, oh, it is July. Don't worry. The warmth is not done yet. Hey, South Haven in the house. Rebecca, thank you for being here. You're right, David. The sun is getting weaker by the day. Get this. I think our sunset today was like 9:13 or something like that, 9:15. I mean, we've already lost about 15, 17 minutes off of the sunset. So those days, and yes, and that is me. Then the sun is getting a little bit lower. It's getting weaker, but it's still awfully strong. It's still awfully strong. Sheila, good evening to you. Ron, hello to you. I know I missed a ton of notes up here, and I apologize. You know how that pains me. Tonight for Ionia, a couple of showers and thunderstorms. I'm not confident that you'll have severe weather, or maybe you can say it the other way. I don't believe that we'll have any severe storms. Oh my goodness, yes, David. I'll tell you what. Get this. David says clear enough air to open the windows midweek. Oh, I thought you were on temperatures. Yes, I do think smoke wise by Wednesday. Yes, clear enough air to open the windows. I was going to say I thought you temperature wise. Listen, when we're looking at that Thursday morning low and Friday morning low, even we're going to be talking about proper window management. Right? Proper window management. So you might have to manage that open window, closed window thing by the middle of the week because the overnight lows are going to be so cool. Connie, hello to you and Wyatt. Thanks so much. Christina says, thank God, I'm ready for cooler temps. I get that. Tim, hello to you. Lily in the house. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it so much. Bailey, we're going to see some rain tonight in northern St. Joe County. I do think that there will be a couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two. Yes, I'm not confident in severe weather. Joanne, you can definitely still get a bad sunburn. Please don't do that. Just use some sunscreen. At least SPF 30 and apply at least once every 2 hours, right? Lucky Mattawan going to be okay with the storms? I think so. Oh, you're in California on vacation. Yeah. What's going on in the UP and the northern lower? Our forecast models do not show that kind of intensity here. So I think so. Lucky, enjoy California, the Golden State. Jennifer, Wednesday will definitely be an open window night, although you might even have to close the window. Get that. I mean, come on, 52 degrees overnight. You might wake to a chill. Robin, you're very welcome. And Rigo, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to skate on out of here, everybody. I got 9:38 on the clock, which means I'll be live in 22 minutes on ARC, West Michigan. Live in an hour 22 on the Mothership News Channel 3. Rebecca, hello to you. Thanks for being here. Don't forget that if you miss me there, I am on Facebook, WWMT's Keith Thompson, on Twitter or X, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at Weatherman Keith, all lowercase, all one word. My good buddy Jeff Porter will be here in the morning, 4:30 to 9. Must see TV. He's going to have the latest on the Smokecast and what we're going to be looking at through the day on Tuesday. More about that comfy, cool air that really I think you're going to start to feel it tomorrow afternoon. But, like I said, when I was just looking at the GFS, that is not Gordon Foods Supply, by the way, service. That is the global forecast system. The GFS model calling for our dew points to fall from the upper 60s tomorrow morning to the mid 40s by Wednesday morning. That would be crazy. We're talking about dropping 20 to 25 degrees on the dew point. Will the air temperature drop? Yeah, the air temp's going to drop too, but it's only going to be dropping probably by about 10 to 15 degrees. The dew point's going to be crashing, which means sayonara, sweat. See you later, humidity. Not for too long, though. As you see on Sunday, we're going to be hot and humid again. All right, everybody, got to go. So thanks again. Jeff Porter's here live in the morning, 4:30 to 9. He's got you again at noon. I'll be back in at 5:30, and 6 tomorrow. We'll do another Facebook Live tomorrow night and YouTube Live at 9 o'clock. All right, everybody, thanks again for being here. I appreciate it. Don't forget, I am monitoring the storms for tonight, too. If anything gets severe, I just do not expect it. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of showers moving across the area here overnight. I don't think it's going to necessarily take away the need to water. But we'll cross our fingers. You got to take what you can get, right? So my mom always said, yours probably did too. Beggars can't be choosers. So again, make it a great night tonight. I'll catch up with you again tomorrow. Remember, there could be some smoke out there in the morning. We might have some problematic air in the morning, but I think in the afternoon, things will be improving greatly. And by Wednesday, we're going to have, in my opinion, some of the best weather in the country by Wednesday. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thanks again for being here.